Alright, what's up, YouTube? Let's do another Crimson Vow Premier Draft. We open up a Mythic Rare 3 mana green dog that does some good stuff. So hopefully we can cast it, make all of our creatures cost 1 less. And otherwise, nothing that sparks too much joy in the pack. The uncommons are all fine. But I'm gonna take the mythic and move on with my day. So, pack 1, pick 2, rare is missing. We've got 1 decent uncommon in Valorant's stance. The other 2 are pretty much trash. There is no other green cards, so we're definitely taking an off-color card here. The Binding Geist can be okay. Specimen is good in specific decks. Courier Bat is good in black-white. But I believe Valorant's stance to be good in any deck with white. So that's why I'm leaning towards it. It's a pretty useful card. Okay, wow. So a common and an uncommon missing from pack 3. We've got the rare Dollhouse of Horrors, which is quite good in a long game. So I will take it, and then we'll just try and be a more defensive deck. There's also the Markov Waltzer and the Catapult Fodder, both of which are fine in their respective decks, but Dollhouse can go into anything, so it makes the most sense to take it here. And I think if I didn't take it here, I would be looking at Rot-Tide, Gargantua, Catapult Fodder. That's about it. Okay. Lots of black still here. Rare and 2 uncommons taken. Out of the commons, I like the Sporeback Wolf. It's a 2/4 on your turn for 2, and a 2/2 otherwise. I also really like the Mind Leech Ghoul. When exiling a card is worth it, you can do it, and when you don't have to, you don't have to. Boarded Window is like medium if you're a more defensive deck, which I guess we are, then it could be pretty playable for you. But I like the wolf, and I'm going to take the wolf. And we're going to take Wolf Strike here. Even though Resistance Squad is quite good, we don't have to, commit to white just yet. But we're very heavily motivated to go into green, and having Wolf Strike green's only removal card seems like where we want to be. Now, there have been other commons taken over Resistance Squad, which could be a good sign that green-white humans is open. But Wolf Strike is just a little bit too good to pass up. And basically the same exact thing here. Like, Flourishing Hunter is quite strong. 6/6 that gains life when it enters for 6. And so I think I'm going to take it here just because we know that we're green. We don't know if we're blue or if we're red. If we were, then one of these 2 cards could be good. But we don't need to go out of green yet, so we shouldn't. And this is a good ETB for our Dollhouse. The Cemetery ability is also quite good. for the dollhouse. So we're doing pretty good so far. And then here, so we've got a green-white, like a human +1/+1 counter guy, but we don't have any ways to put counters on it just yet. So I think that Heron of Hope is going to be just a little bit better. But if you had, a lot of counters on it, on stuff already, then you could definitely take the Escort because I do think it's a good card. Alright. Lots of blue in the pack. There's 4 good blue commons here. Thankfully, there is a good white common, but it may be time to consider looking at blue. The Repository Scab would be the card that I would take if I wasn't already taking the trainee. But here we get big rewarded. The best white uncommon has gone all the way through the table. I believe this was the best white card in this pack. So if we took that mythic and then the best white card in the pack made it all the way through the whole table, that's a really good sign for us that we should be in white. So I'll take it. Here I'll take another Heron. I really like the Heron. I think it's fine. It's a 2/3 flyer for 4, which is not super exciting, but late game when you have the mana, you're going to be gaining 3 life a turn with it. It really helps you to race. Lifelink has been super key in this format, in my experience. So a Rot-Tide Gargantua makes it to the very end, which is quite surprising considering it's a good card. And there's another ghoul here too, which I also like. So black could be open here. And that's something to keep in mind. So, Curse of Hospitality, enchant player, creatures attacking enchanted player of trample. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to that player exiles the top card of their library, and then you can play that card with any color. It's a lot of words for when your creatures hit your opponent, you can play a card off the top of their deck. I don't know if it's worth moving out of the colors that we're already in. Otherwise, there's not much for us, though. We could take the Apprentice Sharpshooter. It's probably the best card here for us. We could just rare draft, and we'll probably get one of those coming around later. Okay, here's a more interesting pick. We have our Signpost Uncommon, Sigardian Paladin. We have Cloaked Cadet, which is like a training lord. It's like anytime you can do training or put counters on something, then you're going to draw cards, and that seems pretty strong. If we let the Paladin go around, we may be the only people in green-white, and so we may be able to pick it up, pick 10. But if we let it go, then we might not, and we might actually cause somebody to want to go into green-white, which would be really bad for us. But I think that the Cadet is quite good. So I'm going to take it and hope that the Paladin wheels, but it is quite risky. So here we've got an interesting choice to make. I don't mind the 4/4 for 4. over the 3/3 with downside. Alright, here's a good one, a flashy boy. And the Vampire Slayer is also fine, but I think Oakshade Stalker is just a little bit better. Panicked Bystander or the Donhard Disciple. I think Bystander's better in a vacuum. Disciple might be better with our training stuff. But I think I'm just going to take the Bystander. Alright, cool. Here we get a chance to get a resistance squad, and we already have 7 humans, so we can definitely keep pushing on the humans. Here is another Flourishing Hunter, which is great. Alright. And then 2-drop or 3-drop. I think taking a 2 is the more disciplined choice. Sharpshooter is good. Rural Recruit is also quite good. We did not wheel the Sigardian Paladin. That is a major red flag. But we just opened one of the bombiest rares we could have possibly opened for our strategy, which is the Welcoming Vampire. Although it's a vampire, it's a 2/3 for 3 with flying. And whenever one or more other creatures with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under our control, draw a card once per turn. If you'll notice, most of our creatures have power 2 or less, so this is going to draw us a card every time we play a creature, which is just insane gas value, and we're going to definitely take it. Alright, so we have 6 other wolves and werewolves for Pack Song Pop. We also have a Wolf Strike, which is removal, which we only have one of right now, and then we have another Resistance Squad. So, as much as I would love another Resistance Squad, I think that Wolf Strike is just gonna go the distance here. The problem with this format, and you can ask anybody, is that the bombs are way too bomby. Your opponent plays a rare, and then you have to kill it that turn, or else you lose. So having these instant speed removal spells is going to be key. Here, I don't like any of these cards. I think I'll just take the Millipede because of curve considerations and because of Dollhouse considerations, +1/+1 counter, synergies. Alright, so here we could get our Paladin, but there's actually another green, white, gold uncommon. This card. This card is absolutely insane if you have a lot of humans. Basically, anytime your creatures die, you just draw more cards and you get more creatures. I really like the Paladin a lot, but I think I just have to take Laid to Rest here. Griff Rider is awesome. Happy to see that come through. We could take another recruit here, but I think the first Evolving Wilds is really good improvement for the deck. So that'll just about do it here. We wield the resistance squad, which is pretty sweet. And then it's just a matter of getting rid of this last few trash cards and moving on to the deck building portion. We seem to have a lot of 3-drops, so we are probably going to cut a few. And that's where I'll look first to make some cuts. But when I first go through, I like to check how many creatures I have. Okay, 25 creatures is way too many, only 5 non-creature spells, so all 7 cuts are going to be creatures. It's important to check that, because you may be cutting what you perceive as less good interaction. But you have to be careful. You know, you have too many creatures and not enough interaction, you're going to have a bad time if your opponent plays some sort of bomb. 5 2-drops, those all seem great. Griff Rider seems amazing. Militia Rallier is a human, so something to consider, but I think it's one of the worst ones. Prowler, I think I can cut out 1 Sharpshooter. Probably the other Rallier. And then the 2 Herons could be okay. We'll cut 1 Recruit. Cut that Millipede. I'm not too into that. Alright. So, 2 more cuts. Probably both still creatures. Probably 3s. How good is this guy? He's really good when you can flash in and get somebody, but when you can't, I'm just not super sold on him. We don't have that many synergies for werewolves. Sharpshooter's pretty medium as well. So what if we cut those 2? Do we still have enough humans in the deck? Only 11 humans now. So we may want to cut a non-human as our last cut. We could also play 41, which is a thing. So what other good cards are we skipping out on? None really. I definitely don't want to cut any more humans. The Sporeback Wolf is pretty bad, but I don't have any other 2-drops to replace it with. It's not bad, but it's bad in our strategy here. So out of 19 creatures, 11 are humans. 4 are wolves. So that's 15. And then what are the other ones? Spirits. Spirits and birds. Why does it say I have 3 spirits? Oh, wolf spirit. Okay. So, 2 herons, 2 hunters, the prowler, the vampire, and the wolf, and the spirit. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to try 41. I think if you forced me to cut a card, we'd probably cut a heron. So we'll play the deck like it is, and then if we need to cut a heron, we will. Thank you so much for watching the drafting and deck building portions of the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you do the YouTube stuff, thumbs up, subscribe for more limited content. Comment, let me know how you would have seen that blue was wheeling and that you would have switched to blue, and how much better of a deck you could have had. I love to hear that stuff. Okay, this is pretty bad with double planes. We can't really cast anything. We only have 2 turns to draw the forest before it's hurting us. So, that said, if we are able to get the forest, we're going to be really happy and really winning this game. We have a 9 out of 34 chance to draw it, which is a little over 25%. And then drawing it on turn 2 is a little bit over 30%. Do we want to gamble on 30%? It's a great question, and I think the answer is probably no. This one also needs a forest, so the same 30% calculation. However, it can at least play its 2-drop, so I am going to keep this hand. Alright, hopefully opponent doesn't counter our big spell here. Nice. We went ahead and bluffed the opponent. It didn't work, but there are some people that won't block this just in case you have a pump spell, and then that's 2 free damage. And there was no risk of losing the creature on the return with the opponent tapped out, so Attacking there is 100% worth it, and I think if you wouldn't have seen that, if you just would have passed the turn, you know, they have a 2-4, then you really missed out. You're missing out on damage. It could be the difference between a win and a loss, so make sure you always grab that little incremental advantage when you can. Alright, if we attack with the 4-4, he trades for the Raconteur, which is going to be one of his best cards. But I don't think we necessarily have to. If we attacked with the Prowler as well, then we might lose the Prowler in exchange for just the Throng, and that would also be quite bad as they just get another one. So, since we're not under any pressure, I think I'm just going to drop the Heron and pass. Alright, opponent dropped a big blocker for our flyer. So now things have changed, you know, now we have to get in on the ground. I think that maybe attacking with the Mariner isn't so bad after all. Opponent has an Abrade, I believe. Okay. We do get to clear out the ground a little bit. So, opponent has a Braid. The Griff Rider is one of the only things that can get up to 3 power flying that I have. But to do that, I need to play it. And then it's just going to hit removal spell next turn. But I guess I just do it anyway. I could play the second Heron, but that doesn't really change the board in any way. Okay, so it wasn't a Braid, it was this Flame Blessed Bolt. A card that's very easy to hold up, that we probably couldn't have dodged anyways. So really, we could have held it. Maybe opponent would have used it on something else, but that was likely gonna happen to us. Okay, opponent plays Frenzied Devils and passes. So Do I want to trade off my Cemetery Prowler for the Devils in order to cast Flourishing Hunter? If I succeed, I think I do. I mean, the Prowler is not very useful anymore. And now I don't have to worry about the Devils. I can play this guy and maybe start getting in on the ground again. The 2/4 is a huge problem for us. Let's see what happens. Opponent takes 6. So another Frenzied Devils. If we attack, he can block with Lamhold Recontour, Wretched Throng, and Frenzied Devils. Are we okay with trading our 6/6 for the 2/4 and the 2/1? That is something that we'll have to think of next turn if we don't draw anything. If we are, what if we attack all here? That makes his blocks more awkward. So, if I were him and my opponent attacked all here, I'd block the 3/1 with the 2/4, this 2/2 with the 3/3, chomp with the 6/6, and then this eats a 2/3. Drake doesn't block. You still take 4. Then I'm only left with a wolf, a this, and a hunter. An opponent left with Witness, Racontor, Devils, and Drake. And then the next turn I would have Trainee. He could play something. Definitely have another Throng. Alright. Okay. Attacking all is bad. Attacking with just this is also relatively bad. But sometimes you just gotta do it at the end of the day. Nice. No more Throngs. That's really good for us. So maybe next turn we can get an all-out training attack, especially if the opponent gets greedy with any sort of flying attack. Alright. Now's the best time. We have instant speed interaction. Let's do it. Okay, so we lose these two guys. We are left with a 3-1, a 2-3, and a 2-4. Opponent will be down to 2. Maybe I should have Wolfstrike the Flyer pre-combat. Still think we're in a winning position here. Oh, so he's what, taking another turn, right? Okay. We're still in a tough spot, actually. So this game might go on quite much longer, but at least we know that we're at 25 and our opponent's at 2. He's been holding 2 cards this entire time, which is concerning. This attack is also pretty bold. I figured as much. This still means that he's trading for the pig. Okay. Well, we could be actually pretty screwed here. I'm pretty glad that we killed that guy. I should have held that. I should have held that. That was so dumb. Don't be like me, guys. Alright. Yeah, I should have held the planes because then we could have discarded two things. So if opponent has two removal spells here, he can get rid of the spirit. We actually don't have a pump spell. What does he have? So, the opponent just did a bit of an oopsie. He needed to wait until the Drake had dealt damage before he cast the instant. He did it in response to my lifelink for some reason. So, prevented me from gaining 3 life, but left my Heron around. Okay, and now he has to spend a whole other removal spell on it, so that's really good for us. I mean, it's not good that he has so much removal, but it is good that he made that mistake. Okay. Alright, so we get his thing for free. Play another lethal threat. That was a good draw for him. This is a good draw for us. So we get to trade with one with the worst creature. And then we get to do this again. I don't think it matters what we exile. I am going to do the Evolving Wilds now, just out of greed and because I don't want to draw another land. Sweet, so we win our first game. That took forever, but we got it. I don't think I can keep this one. We could get greedy and ditch the land. Let's try it. Alright, so, you're the opponent. You obviously have a removal spell, right? Which one do we want them to remove? I think Prowler dodges the most removal and is the best blocker, so I'm going to go with him. But all I'll say is RIP Prowler. This hurts, but I think I have to block here. Why did I play Welcoming Vampire? Because they can block Fearful Villager. But if opponent has a pump spell, we basically lose. I mean, we only have 8 life left. So, I would have loved to play Dollhouse. Would have loved to play Dollhouse, because then we could have, next turn, gotten a copy of Cemetery Prowler and then dropped both Vampire and Rider and drew a card. I think that I have to just hope to draw a land off of this. And then, do I just also play Resistance Squad? Probably. And then I can let Welcoming Vampire go now because of Dollhouse. A Hunter would be great here. The Ballista Watcher is a problem for us. We have a lot of X1s, so maybe we Wolf Strike that. But like, when he taps that, then he can't attack with it anymore, so. Okay. Cool, so we're definitely trying to stem the bleeding here. We almost certainly have to kill this, or else we'll just lose. And then we probably play this. No attacks. Flipped it back to daytime, which is going to be better for us than it is for him. And then we can start putting out our dollhouses now that the pinger's gone. And so the first doll will probably bring back the Rural Recruit. That seems like a really good one. We could also bring back the Vampire, but if he has more removal, then we'll be kind of screwed. So I think Recruit first, just for blocking purposes. Oh, wow, we got a long game ahead of us. Alright, so probably now I just play the Hunter. Gain the 4 life while I still can, make a big blocker, and this will probably slow them down, then we can start dollhousing. The only thing I'm worried about now is like that Ripsaw guy, the 4/3. That can kill an artifact, or an Abrade. That could be really bad. Okay, so they don't have it. Let's start doing the doll thing. Pretty sweet, huh? We still get the pig and everything. Okay, let's draw a card. And then we'll make our vampire. Then we'll draw another card. So we're popping off now. They have haste, but he has reach. Can't forget about that. Really the only good attack we have is the 6/6. And even then it's not that good. We're going to trade for the 5/3. So let's not attack. Let's flip it back to daytime. And then we'll attack next turn if he plays a spell. Alright. Play our thing. Draw another card. So now we can get probably Griff Rider. And now we can start swinging in. Sweet. So yeah, this is probably us winning. Nice. The dollhouse destroyed our opponent. All of our cards are so good with it. And the constructs start getting really big once you have a lot of them. So yeah, that was really sweet. That rural recruit is so good. It's basically the same creature, but better. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna let my friend watch. So, Dawnheart Disciple's probably the best to drop first. blocks. And then we can drop Griff Rider, growing the Disciple, attacking. And then next turn we can maybe play Vampire Evolving Wilds. Wow, doubles Distracting Geist means that we're never going to be able to block. That's pretty crazy. Oh man, and I can't even attack this turn either. So I think we lose. That's insane. I don't know how you beat that. We need another really good 2 or 3 next turn so we can play Spirit and another card to block. Because I think we might just have to do this, which feels really bad. So now we can just play that on something. Okay. So maybe I should have played Wolf first. It didn't matter, but it could have mattered if this had been 3. So definitely should have played Wolf first. I'll try and get a little bit more value off the Vampire before I throw it away. But he can start tapping it down. It's gonna be a problem. And again, we just have like the worst attacks. You know, we could attack with Dawnhard Disciple, but then he's just gonna get a disturbed creature back, and we're gonna lose our blocker. It's probably game for us. If we take 3, we're gonna lose next turn. So I'm gonna chump here. But then that's like our only flyer, and now he can attack with 5 in the air, and yeah. Whoops, should have played the planes. Well, that's just a great cap to what I would consider one of the hardest games I've played so far. There just hasn't been a point in the entire game where the opponent has felt any kind of pressure, and I've been under immense pressure. And now he's got lethal in the air with flyers, so good game. Let's just move on to the next one. Right on. Alright. So, unfortunately we don't have a 2, but we only have 5 of those in the deck, so we are going to have some games where we just don't ever draw it. And then we had a 3 and a 4 and a 4. Not much that he can do to get rid of the vampire on his turn. So I'm going to play the vampire now and start getting the value now. And then we are going to have to deal with this. But and then if opponent gets to 7 mana, we're going to lose the game in 3 turns. And it has vigilance. So we really want it to be nighttime. However, we also really want to be able to play a flyer. His thing is going to attack next turn, and it's going to be bad if we don't play the other flyer. But I think you could have made the argument to play the Mariner, because the Mariner can fight the Judge. And like, the thing has freaking vigilance, you know? just go for it and probably get blown out. Okay. We'll take 4 in the air. It's no big deal. And so opponent is almost ready to play the disturbed part of it as well. We should have life-linked. But now we have Wolf Strike. Just drop another Heron, I guess, and hold up the Wolf Strike. We can Wolf Strike whatever he would put the aura on. Alright, so we have what, 3 turns? I think we can maybe win. So we still have we still have 2 turns. So when Brian Color becomes the target. Alright, this doesn't do anything. So that's fine. Okay. Do this. And then I guess we'll just play the big guy. Alternatively, we could play Resistance Squad and hope to draw into another threat. I think the big guy is where we want to be. So, we have to win next turn. Opponent has 4 lethal threats coming in, so one. What's his last card? What's going on? Does he have it or not? Ah, supernatural rescue. You don't see that every day. That sucks. So, what? We should have taken 4, and then we'll strike another time. So that's pretty rough. But that's okay. I think, yeah, we definitely could have done that better. Another blue-white? Okay. Alright, opponent's getting a lot of value. Look at that life gain. Oh my gosh. We don't even care. We're still at a higher life total than we were before last turn. Alright. I think we should attack again. But this is a serious threat. Alright, we're at 15 still. Ooh, we should have wolf striked. We should have wolf striked the infested werewolf. Got him. So we just have to survive. If we can survive with all of our flyers intact, we win. So 3, 6, 9. Dang girl, fine. We survive with 1 life left, and we got the win with the flyers. Nice. We got there. We got there with the double heron. So we're 3 and 2. I'd like to get to 4 and 2, but I understand if we can't get there. We had a few losses, one of which we probably could have played a little better. Got a fine opening hand. We've got the Fleeting Spirit. The Fleeting Spirit actually grows the Griff Rider. Then we got some more training coming up with a Hunter to cap it off. So, we definitely don't trade for Snarling Wolf. It is awkward to attack with the spirit in this situation. He's got, you know, 2 pieces of crap that he can trade away for it, and it's actually a really good creature on our end. And then now the Griff Riders can just trade anyways, so we'll definitely be trading down if we do this. This is interesting. I mean, the same logic holds here. We're forced to play the resistance squad and we don't draw land. So I'm pretty nervous about this, and I think that, you know, maybe we should just play it defensively. So, are we going to trade Griff Riders here? I think we do, because we're definitely on the defensive. Really need to draw a land, otherwise this game will be over a lot quicker than we want it to be. Yikes, this is always one that you don't want to see when you're on the defensive. So we really need to draw that land now. So I think we'll play the Hookhand Mariner, which will block everything but the Shield Basher. Alright, opponent plans on making a big attack here, I guess. so do we block any of them? If so, which one do we block? The recruit growing is annoying. So I'll just go ahead and block here. So we could have started attacking there. That is also a concern of ours, but again, being down on mana, I think I just want to be defensive until we can play Flourishing Hunters. Because once we can play our Flourishing Hunters, then we can block, we gain life, and if they ever die, we just Dollhouse them back. So the late game is inevitable for us. Alright, so if he pays 1 for this and then pays for the Snarling Wolf, that'll be his whole turn. So as much as I hate trading this off, maybe that's the right move. We could actually... Okay, I was gonna say, if he pays for it, then we could discard the spirit. Or like discard and save the spirit. So now could be the time to get in with the Griff Rider and drop the Heron. I'll just take 4 again. Then gain 4 and have our blocker out, which allows us to maybe consider attacking. Alright. Opponent gets out another color, which is always scary. And I think here I'm just going to gain 6 life while I can. Then I'll go ahead and attack with these. Okay. Opponent's deciding what to do. Yeah, we'll go ahead and kill the tapper. He really wanted that tapper. He paid 5 mana for it, so let's get rid of it. And I like the way that this board is looking for us. So we have 5, 6, 7. We could gain another 6 life. Sure. Let's go ahead and give lifelink and then just play the Kinet, and then next turn we'll start dollhousing. We'll take 5. We're at plenty of life here. Okay, opponent. You're gonna have to make a decision sometime. You're gonna have to decide. He's trying to decide what to remove. I think he's got enchantment-based removal. Oh my gosh, 2 abrades. Ooh, this is gonna be spicy. This is gonna be spicy. Let's get this guy back. So, unless opponent has 3 abrades in his hand, we should be able to keep our dollhouse around. And we get to drop the wolf. That was a sick turn. Opponent's gained a lot of life from that 1 drop. But I think the tables are about to turn. We can drop a resistance squad and draw a card and then play recruit. We could gain 4 life. I think the best 2 are the recruit and the hunter. Alright, so we've got 8 mana. We have enough to do all of the things. So let's go ahead and do it. Draw a card. Opponent's got something else. If it's another abrade, you should be looking at the dollhouse. Okay, it's lantern flare for 4. Alright. That's fine, we can just make a dollhouse copy of it next turn anyway. keep the wolf strike for something that's actually scary. Right now, I'm not really afraid of anything that he could possibly have. So, we'll go ahead and attack, right? And then we could wolf strike Odric now. And that's game. Alright. So the Dollhouse running away with the game again. We are 4-2. We can try and make it 5-2 here. These games have been super long, which is a bit of a personal struggle, but we can keep going anyways. Sure. Yeah, we'll block Deadly Dancer for sure. But opponent is going to be able to get a card off the top of our thingy. Okay, never mind, they can't play it anyway. What is it, a Heron? Well, that Heron would have been nice to draw, but... Also, the Resistance Squad would have been nice to keep around. Can't block, so opponent's going to get another card. It is a pretty good one. But we've got a good blocker now. We're going to gain 3 life next turn, hopefully. That's a good one. We could destroy it, but then we're going to lose our vampire. This really sucks because we're going to lose our vampire. But I just can't abide a 6/4 sitting around. And so he can block and trade and get his blood, but then that'll be one less thing that can attack with Curse. So we can draw one more card off the top of our deck. Hopefully it's just a land, and then we can start maybe clearing out the board with Wolf Strike. Gosh, not a land, huh? Okay, so do we just kill Child of the Pack before I can start shitting out little guys? Do we kill the flyer? Well, if we Dollhouse... So, if I were the opponent, I would just pass, make a wolf. Okay. Here's your card off the top of my deck. Wow, how does he just get amazing cards off the top of our deck all the time? Alright, so we have to kill the Child of the Pack and hope for the best. Okay. Child of the Pack is dead. We can start getting in with our flyers after we get the next construct out. So we have the Dollhouse. As long as the Dollhouse stays out, we should be okay. plays a defender. That's good for us. Think that we want to use this now. Get resistance squad out. Draw a card. Cloak Cadet. And then we could draw another card, but I'm cool just chilling one more turn, I think. Alright, so we'll draw another card. We'll make all our things bigger. Kill is 6/6. And then we'll attack, I guess? Get some training going. Nice, opponent blocks with 2 things. So that's 2 cards that he's not going to get. And then he knows that we can just dollhouse it back, right? Okay, so we just dollhouse the thing back and he concedes, right? This card is incredible. Sweet hand. Do we play the trainee? Who knows? Maybe opponent missed his 3-drop. It's happened to me before. No counters. No counters. Nice. Take that 1 damage. Opponent thirsts for discovery and discards a land. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in their hand. Okay. I kinda wish I had played this Sporeback Wolf. Because the trainee has just not done much. Okay. Wow. So he goes and sacks the thing. Cool. Then he's gonna attack with the flyer. Okay. It's interesting. That is interesting stuff that you're doing there. Go ahead and play our cadet and draw our card here. Okay, we have 3 mana. We definitely want to attack in so we can draw a card off the cadet. We could Wolf Strike this Kindly Ancestor so that our pig doesn't die. But really don't think the pig matters at this point. Just attack, train in, trade, opponent goes to 7. And then we can drop our Flourishing Hunter and gain 5. Alternatively, we could play Heron and Wolf, but I think Hunter's probably the way to go. And opponent is just not going to race us. So they didn't get a mountain. They discarded that mountain. Is that they only have like 1 card that they're splashing, and that's Watering Mind? Sorry about that. Had to take care of some business. 7 mana. So everything looks pretty good for us. No need to Wolf Strike in yet. We can just attack all. And then we can... We could Wolf Strike now. We could also Valorant's stance, but I like the idea of getting rid of everything on the board. Oh, sorry, I should have killed the lifelinker. That was my bad. And then we'll play this guy and pass, leaving up Valorant stance to protect our guys. And this is probably game. We'll have a lethal attacker, and like a lethal package here. So opponent will need to play a blocker, a removal spell, and a lifelink spell to stay in it, I believe. Okay, here's the blocker. Here's the lifelink. Here's another blocker, so he needs a third blocker here. Okay, he doesn't have it. Game over. Sweet. We are actually 6-2 with the deck after being 2-2, so pretty good comeback here. Really long games. I've been playing about as fast as I can, maybe a little bit of weights here and there, but my opponents have been a bit of thinkers, and that combined with it going to like turn 10, 11 every game has been pretty exhausting. But this is the last game, win or lose. We're 6-2 here, up against the final boss with a decent hand. Let's go. Which 2-drop attacks the best? Probably the trainee is what we want to get out. Now, does that attack the best? Hell no. Fleeting Spirit attacks the best. Sporeback Wolf is also quite good. We'll get the wolf out. There we go. So the wolf is able to attack in. We'll play this guy, I guess. Could have played the trainee that turn. That probably would have been good. No blocks. Yeah, I really wish I had played the trainee that turn. That would have been sweet. Whoa, what the heck was that? Was that 2 Ancestral Angers? Ooh, opponent is feeling spicy. Okay, let's attack in. trade for the bystander. I think I'm just going to let that happen and then play the Griff Rider. Could also make an argument for playing Fleeting Spirit to grow the Parish Blade one more time. But I think I just want to use my mana efficiently here. It's pretty aggressive. Alright, so we could potentially get a double train off with the pig. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Alright, let's try and get that train off here. Opponent's at 6, so I think this is the move. We also have a Valorant stance as a combat trick here. And we get to drop the Fleeting Spirit, so opponent is basically screwed here. Nice! We did it! We did it. 7-2 with the green-white human dollhouse deck. I really hope you enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed playing these, even though they were quite long. And we'll see you in the next video. Remember to do all the YouTube stuff. Love ya. Peace out.